Hey guys, it's Asha. Welcome back to Reading with Toby. Today I have my April wrap up for you guys. These are all the books that I read in April, letting you guys know what I thought about them. April was a pretty good reading month. I read a total of 7 books, which is the most I've read in a month so far this year. I mean, of course, the quarantine and everything made that possible. So let's go ahead and get started because I have a lot of stuff to say. I don't know, we'll see. All right, so I participated in the Owls Readathon this month, and for that I was trying to become a potioneer. So in order to become a potioneer, you had to read 5 books for 5 owls. Okay, so the first one was for arithmancy, which was to read a book outside of your favorite genre. And I chose Thanks for the Trouble by Tommy Wallace. It was also my TBR jar pick for the month of April. So this is a YA kind of magical realism contemporary novel. And I actually really enjoyed it. I ended up giving it 4 out of 5 stars. I was not expecting to love it as much as I did. This book, you're following Parker, who doesn't speak. He writes everything down in a little notebook in order to communicate with people. And he's sitting in this hotel. He decided to skip school, sits in this hotel, and he sees this girl named Zelda, and he likes to steal from people in the hotel, and he goes and steals her wallet. And they kind of meet from there and takes off, and they kind of have a nice like weekend adventure. I thought this was actually really cute and just sweet and heartwarming, and you're following Parker, who's like dealing with a loss. Someone passed away in his life and he's kind of dealing with that, and Zelda is kind of helping him go through that, and then of course Parker is helping Zelda go through it as well. And something about this book, Zelda is the kind of like magical realism. There's something kind of magical about her. He's not sure if he believes her about it. I don't want to say it is because I think it's kind of cool to find out as you read it. But yeah, I really like this a lot for a YA novel. I thought it was fun and sweet and entertaining, and I read this book. I flew through this book so quickly. All these books that I read for the Owls, I did a whole reading vlog, so if you want to see more of my thoughts as I was reading it, I will definitely link those down below for you guys. But yeah, I thought this was 4 out of 5 stars. If you are looking for just a fun, cute YA, I definitely recommend this one. The next Owls was for Care of Magical Creatures. I was to read a book with a creature with a beak on the cover. So I originally was going to read The Rise and Fall of the Dinosaurs, which I'm still reading that book. That book just takes me a while to get through. Like, I can't just sit and read a ton of pages of that book. So I decided to go with The Empress of Salt and Fortune by Nagi Vo. I think that's how I say it. This is a fantasy novella that I've seen a couple people talk about, and it caught my eye, and there is a creature with a beak on the cover. And yeah, I'm still not sure how I felt about this. I read this last night. It's really short. It's like 150 pages. Basically in this like fantastical Asian inspired world, and you're following this you don't even know, creature, person who is a Selic, and what they basically do is take down the history, and they're kind of like a historian, and they're taking the history down. And Selic goes to this woman named Rabbit and is getting the history from her about the Empress, the exiled Empress, and basically taking that history down. And so you're getting the story of the Empress, why she was exiled, and her story after she was exiled. It is very whimsical and fantastical, and it felt like you were sitting around a campfire and someone was telling you the like folklore of your culture. That's what it felt like. And I really enjoyed that aspect. But I don't know, when I finished it, I was just like, all right. Like, it was good, but there are some people, like, the reviews for this book are like insane. People love this book, and so I was excited to read it. But I don't know, I just thought it was like, it wasn't bad, but it didn't blow me away. So I don't know if I like missed something. I don't know if I was just really tired, and so I like didn't get some things, but I still enjoyed it. I think I'm gonna give it, because I still haven't rated it yet, but I think I'm gonna give it 3 out of 5 stars. I really liked it. Like, I love the atmosphere of it, but the actual story itself, I was just like, all right, cool. I don't know. I'll definitely read the second one. The second one is coming out. It's like a series, and the second one is coming out soon. Yeah, definitely recommend if you like novellas, if you like more fantastical folklore, fairy tale-esque novellas, because it was good. Like, it did everything it needed to do, but I was just like, all right, cool, you know, at the end. So there we go. The next one was for Charms, which was to read a book that started with the letter M. For that, I picked up Middlegame by Shannon McGuire. Now, if you want to see all of my thoughts as I was reading this book, definitely watch my vlogs, because I talk a lot about this book and what I think about it. But I ended up giving this 3.5 out of 5 stars. This was a chunky book to read. This book, you are following two twins, Roger and Dodger, and they are made by these alchemists, and they're sent out into the world separated so that they can mature in hopes that they will fulfill and become this thing called the doctrine, which is basically something that the alchemists can use to rule the world, basically. And Roger is the male, and he is really good at language. Dodger is the female, and she's really good at math. And yeah, the like idea of this book was so cool. Just, it was way too long in my opinion. So you're just following Roger and Dodger as they're kind of coming to their powers. They go in and out of having contact with each other. Yeah, I like this book. It definitely kind of fell more and more flat as you read on throughout the book. Like the beginning, I was really hooked. And when they're children, they like get contact with each other. They can like talk to each other through their minds. You're like really interested in it. But then you have all of these time jumps. You have switch perspectives. You get these like different little stories of, so there's like a female alchemist, and she like wrote this book, and you get parts of that book throughout the story, like here throughout the story, and you're kind of like, what is the point of this? And then you kind of find out why it is. And yeah, it's just like a lot going on in this book. And I don't know, like I said in those vlogs, I feel like there were too many words. I feel like Sean McGuire, like I really like her writing, but she loves to repeat things over and over and over about the like world building, about the characters. I don't know, I guess to make sure that the reader knows what's going on. I don't really know, but it was like too many words telling me what's going on, and I didn't need it. Like I got it. So that part really bothered me. It was one of those books, like while I was reading it, I was really enjoying it. I was like into it. I was reading it quickly. I thought Roger and Dodger were really cool characters. You had some other side characters that were cool in there. But then once I finished it, I like haven't like thought about it again, honestly. I feel like this book, there could be a sequel if she wanted it, and I would definitely read the sequel. So I don't know. I just think like I don't know. Like I said, I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I recommend if it sounds interesting. Like it's just a fun, good time, I think. And yeah, like she did some really cool stuff with their magical powers. But overall, it just was kind of like fell flat, especially at the end. After you finish everything and it all wrapped up, you were just kind of like, all right. So there's that one. So the next one for the owls was herbology. No, just kidding. Oh my gosh, I just realized I did that all wrong. Oh my gosh. So sorry. Middlegame was actually for herbology, which was to read a book with an M on the cover. Charms was to read a book with a white cover. Sorry about that. Okay, so for that, I decided to go with The Final Empire by Brandon Sanderson. Again, another chunky book. All right, so this book here, I thought this was a lot of fun, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't quite understand all the hype on this book. This series has so much hype. I feel like this is one of the most hyped series on BookTube, and like I don't get it. I don't know if I need to finish all the books or what. Like I thought this was good, really fun. The characters, like they felt real. Like the magical system was awesome. Like I will say that it was so cool seeing how they like use the metals and like flying through the air and they're doing all this fun stuff. You could visualize it all perfectly. You could see the world perfectly. Ben was a really cool character. Kel was a cool character. Like all the characters are really cool, but it wasn't like mind-blowing. I don't know. I don't know if I just had like way too high expectations for this, but it was really fun. This definitely felt like a YA novel, not an adult fantasy, to me at least. I don't know. And also, okay, Brandon Sanderson's writing, like when he was writing the action sequences and writing the parts where you're just in the world and you're just like going through the world with the characters, that part was really good. But when he's like trying to explain things to you and info dumping, definitely like the first like 50 pages was straight up info dumping about the world, and that was really annoying. And then like I said in one of my vlogs, he does this thing where he will italicize what a character is thinking, and it's like he's trying to reiterate a point to make sure that the reader knows exactly what's going on, or like will understand why a character is about to do something or what a character's thinking. But like you already got it, like from the context, like how he wrote everything else, pretty obvious what's happening. And that annoyed me so much. That's one of the things I hate, is when authors over explain things to readers. Like I hate it in books, I hate it in movies. Like you don't need to over explain things to me. You don't need to tell me every single thing that's happening. You don't need to make sure that I know what's happening, especially if you already made it clear. Oh, it's like one of my biggest pet peeves in books. And he does that a lot throughout the book, and that really irritated me. But other than that, the rest of the book was really good, except for the info dumping parts. Because there definitely was, the beginning had a lot of info dumping, and there was like a part in the middle where he was info dumping again, just like putting it out there. But the rest of the book was good, and I'm definitely going to read the rest of the series because I'm really curious where it's going to go, because it kind of wrapped up nicely. Like I'm wondering if maybe he thought that this was just going to be a standalone, like he wasn't sure if he was going to get other books published, because it kind of wrapped up nicely. Like if this was a book by itself, I feel like it would be fine. So I'm curious where the other books are going to go. Oh, also I really liked the villain in here, the Dark Lord. Like I thought he was really cool. Just putting it, I thought he was awesome. So yeah, I really liked it. I feel like it's just gonna get better, and hopefully his writing will improve too, because like it literally took me out of the story. And every time it happened with the little italicized thing, I would just roll my eyes. So there's that one. I hope that makes sense what I said. I don't even know. But yeah, I ended up giving this 4 out of 5 stars because it was a lot of fun, and the ending was pretty epic and like action packed, and I did not want to put it down. I read like, this is one of those books where I would be reading and then I would look up and I somehow read 100 pages and didn't even feel like it. So that was good. All right, there, we're done with that one. Okay, the last book that I read for the Owls Readathon was for Potion's class, and you had to read a book under 150 pages. And for that, I went with Saga Volume 1. I was really excited to read this. Yeah, because again, of all the hype. And I ended up enjoying this. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The first like portion of the book, or of the comic, I was not really liking, like the first 2 chapters. Is that what they're called in here? Yeah, like the first 2 or 3 chapters I wasn't really feeling. I felt like it was way too, what's the word I'm looking for, like superfluous with all the adult content. It was like trying too hard. I think it was just putting it out there because he could. And I felt like the women were the only ones talked down to, talked trash about. Like they were the only ones called whores and sluts and all these terrible words, like only the women. I was like, okay. But then as the story went on, you kind of got more into the actual like family of these two, their love. You felt it, and I was like really into it on the last half of the comic series. I was like feeling it. I wanted them to make it. I was like on the edge of my seat, and I definitely want the rest of the series, because I feel like now that we're actually in the plot of it, it's going to be a lot better. Yeah, I just gave it 4 out of 5 stars because of the 2 things that I said that I didn't really enjoy at the beginning. But yes, it was good. So that's everything that I did for my owls. So this is everything that I read for the Owls Readathon, including, oh, the Empress of Salt and Fortune. Is that what it was called? Yes. So that was pretty good. Happy with my owls wrap up. And then I participated in the stay home reading rush, which I daily vlogged for that. So I'll also link that down below if you want to see all my thoughts again as I was reading them. So there were 4 challenges for the reading rush, and I did 2 books to go with that. First, I read Darling Rose Gold by Stephanie Robble. So for this one, this was a book that you think will make you smile, and I chose it because it's supposed to be dark, twisty thriller that I thought would make me smile, and it did. And then also a book that you read in the same place at the same time, so I just read that one here on my bed the entire time. All right, so this week you're following Rose Gold, who was dealing with Munchausen by proxy syndrome. Her mother made her sick, obviously for her own gain, and the mom ends up going to prison. You're following Gypsy Rose in the aftermath of her seemingly wanting to reconcile with her mother, but you think that she's actually going to get revenge. So this book is definitely, I thought at first, very much following the Gypsy Rose case, and I was like, how in the world was she able to get away with this? Like straight up copying that story. But towards like, it started going on its own way, I think, and doing its own thing. Yeah, so this book you're following 2 different timelines and 2 perspectives. You're following both Gypsy Rose's perspective and the mother's perspective. Gypsy Rose's perspective is right when the mom goes to prison and she's on her own. She has to kind of figure out life, dealing with the aftermath, the trauma, and all that. And then you're dealing in present day when the mom gets out of prison, and you're in the mom's perspective when she is in the trying to reconcile with Gypsy Rose and all of that stuff. So I felt like those 2 perspectives were done really well. You felt 2 completely different emotions with the 2 different perspectives, which I said I think is really good writing, because when you're in Gypsy Rose's perspective, you feel so bad for her, but you're also frustrated at her because she's like making some decisions and you're just like, what is wrong with you, girl? But she just like wants a family. She just wants friends. She just wants to feel loved, but she doesn't quite know how to do it because she wasn't socialized properly. So you're dealing with that. And then you switch into the mom's perspective, and the mom is obviously has her own issues, and she makes you so angry. But in the present day, you feel the tension because they're together, they're like living together, and you feel the tension in the air. You have no idea what's going on. And I thought that was a really good choice to make. Instead of being present day in Gypsy Rose's perspective, you're in the mom's perspective, so you have no idea what Gypsy Rose is up to, and that made it definitely more thrilling. And then the plot twist, at first I was like, what? I did not see it coming, but the more I thought about it, I realized that like you couldn't see it coming because she didn't set it up enough, so it just kind of came out of nowhere. And the plot twist is just kind of told to you, which I don't like. I feel like it would have been so much better if we saw the plot twist happen. Like, I'm not gonna give anything away, don't worry, but if we like saw the characters do the plot twist, I feel like it would have been so much more thrilling. We would have just been like, oh my god, you know, instead of it just being told to you. So that was the only thing I didn't like about it, but the rest of it was good. Stephanie Robble definitely has a lot of potential, and I would definitely be picking up her next one. I gave this 3.5 out of 5 stars if I didn't say, but I definitely recommend if you're looking for just like a fun, entertaining thriller, and then like the Munchausen by proxy like narrative sounds good to you. Definitely recommend it. All right, then the last book I read was Little Posh Everywhere by Celeste Ng. This was for read a book with a house on the cover and read a book set somewhere you wish you could go. This takes place in Shaker Heights. Like I said, I used to live in Shaker Heights, and I was supposed to go back to Cleveland for this like medical conference. I was super excited. I was supposed to go in April, but I couldn't, obviously, with everything going on. So definitely a place I wish I could go. This book, oh my god, I freaking loved it. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. My only 5 out of 5 stars this month. I absolutely love this book. Oh my gosh. The writing, oh my gosh, Celeste Ng's writing is incredible. The characters in the story are all so different and complex, and you feel for all of them. Some of them make you really angry, like Mrs. Richardson, but like Mia, oh my god, I just love Mia. I don't know what it was about Mia, but her and her whole like storyline, just I felt for her. I almost like cried reading about Mia's storyline. I don't know if I was just like extra emotional reading this book already, but I love this book so much. I loved everything she was trying to say with this book about race and class and family. I just loved everything about it. I'm not really gonna say too much else about it because I just loved it. Like, I just loved it. I don't really have anything else to say. I thought it was like an amazing book, and I would definitely be reading Everything I Never Told You by her. Yes, if you haven't read this book yet, do it, read it. There's a reason why people love it so much. And I did try to watch the TV show. If you watch my vlogs, you know that I was like super excited to watch the show. I watched the first episode. No, I did not like it. It's like, kind of cheesy. It's definitely more cable TV show, and not just, I didn't think it was that great. Like, the acting was not that good. Seriously, only Kerry Washington was like the only great actor, or the only great actress in that show. I was so confused because even Reese Witherspoon, who I do like, I really like Reese Witherspoon, her acting was like kind of weird in that. Literally only Kerry Washington was like on her acting game, and then the rest of it, oh, it was just kind of cheesy. I did not like it, so I only watched the first episode. I'm not gonna watch anymore. I was hoping that they were going to do this like Big Little Lies. If you've seen Big Little Lies, like, that show is incredible. Like, the cinematography, the acting, the like soundtrack, like the atmosphere, they got the thrills right. But I don't know, I thought they were gonna do it more like that. But yeah, instead it went more towards your like typical cable TV, and I am good. So I'm not gonna watch the rest of the show, but I'm really happy that I read this book because I freaking loved it. All right, guys, there we go. I feel like I didn't make any sense with this wrap up. I don't even know. So yeah, these are all the books that I read this month. Let me know if you've read any of these, or if you want to read any of these. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will catch you guys in my next one. Bye.